20 years ago. Oleg's wife died. Her departure left a deep wound in his heart that he couldn't heal. Every day he remembered her, looked through old photographs, read her letters, and listened to her favorite music. Oleg's life stopped the moment she was gone. 15 years passed. Oleg aged, but the memories of his wife remained as vivid as the first day after her death. But the last 5 years turned into a real nightmare. It all started with night terrors. He saw her face, heard her voice, felt her presence. At night, waking up in a cold sweat, he heard her whisper calling his name. At first, he thought it was just his mind playing tricks on him, a result of prolonged grief. But the whisper grew louder and more insistent, and one day he saw her. His wife's ghost stood by his bed, looking at him with sad eyes and whispering something softly. Oleg couldn't understand what she was saying, but he felt her pain and suffering. Every night, the ghost returned. It deprived Oleg of sleep, haunted him everywhere, in the house, on the street, even at work. Oleg tried to fight it, but nothing helped. He became exhausted, his health deteriorated. Friends and colleagues began to notice his strange behavior. He told them about the ghost, but no one believed him. They thought he was crazy. Oleg decided that the only way to end this was to destroy the ghost. He studied books on the occult, searching for ways to exorcise spirits. But the deeper he delved into the topic, the more horrifying details he learned. Finally, he found a ritual that could help him get rid of his wife's ghost. That night, he was ready. He placed candles, drew a magic circle on the floor, and prepared the incantations. When the ghost of his wife appeared, he began to recite the words of the spell. The ghost screamed. The room filled with cold and dark. Oleg felt something was going wrong, but he continued to recite. Suddenly, everything stopped. The ghost disappeared, and the room was silent again. Oleg felt relieved, but it was short-lived. Suddenly, he was enveloped in a dreadful darkness from which evil voices emerged. They laughed, whispering in his ear that he had made a terrible mistake. Oleg realized that it was not his wife's ghost. It was an evil force using her image to torment him. It had been waiting for him to perform the ritual to free itself and possess his soul. Oleg tried to resist, but it was too late. The darkness consumed him, and he felt his mind clouding. In the last moments of his life, he understood that the ghost of his wife had never existed. It had been an illusion created by an evil force to take his soul. Oleg screamed in terror and pain, realizing that his own obsession and grief had led him to... He died alone, consumed by darkness. No one knew of his suffering. No one came to his aid. His house remained empty, and over time, the neighbors began to notice strange things. They heard odd noises, saw shadows flickering in the windows. Years passed, and Oleg's story became a local legend. People spoke of a curse hanging over his house. They avoided it, fearing that the evil force that consumed Oleg was still there. And indeed, at night, you could hear his screams coming from the empty house, a reminder that sometimes our own grief can become a door for darkness, ready to consume us.